Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, doing well.
Perfect. Have
Thank
a
you.
seat.
All right.
All right.
How are you doing today?
Perfect. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty well.
Great. How's the last week been?
It's been a long week, but it's been all right.
Okay.
Been all right. Yeah, been pretty busy.
All good stuff?
Yeah. So far so good. A little overwhelmed with school, but I'm trying to work towards the goals that I've set, and feel like I'm getting there.
Perfect. All right. So just a little recap of last session. We discussed how you watched a Netflix documentary on the environment and how recycling is needed more, and how it kind of got you feeling down and guilty about how you're not doing your part to keep the environment safe, and how you would like to improve that and move forward with that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I've kind of kept up that energy over the last couple of days, and I've been trying to surround myself in by things that are reminding me how good it is for the planet for me to continue recycling.
So you've already started recycling.
Yeah, I've started a few parts that I can at my house at least. I've tried to start, sorting my garbage and being more mindful of how my recycling habits at home can affect the rest of my community.
So you were working on those small steps that we discussed last time and implementing them into your life.
Yeah, definitely. I've kept those in mind.
So how is that going so far?
Well, it's definitely a challenge for me to keep in mind all of those kind of goals and steps that we talked about last time every single time I make trash. But I don't think that's I don't think that's really what I need to be focusing on. I need to be focusing piece by piece how my everyday habits of living can really impact my global footprint. And
Okay.
I'm trying to start with myself.
All right. So you just said that you were already working on goals. Last session, I don't believe we actually made concrete goals together. So why don't you tell me about some of the goals that you have set in your mind, and maybe we can work through those together.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't set any formal goals yet,
Okay.
but in my head, I've had the goal of, creating a certain amount of recyclable waste every couple of days and trying to measure that. And so I think one of my goals will be to weigh my trash, or maybe somehow get a quantitative number of how many recyclable products I'm producing per week, and using that to kind of set a goal for myself.
Okay.
And then try to meet
So
that.
how are we thinking that we're going to measure? Are we doing it by weight? Do you feel like weighing it on pounds, or are we doing it on how many plastic bottles you recycle in a day?
Right. Well, ideally, I would have a very industrial scale to weigh how much recyclable waste I am producing every week. But right now, I think I want to start with measuring my waste in amounts of bags of actual recyclable products that I produce. So when one bag is full, tie it up and put it off to the side, or take it to the recycling center, and then make a note of that and see how many bags I accumulate by the end of 1 week.
So you want to do it by separating your trash from the recyclables, and every trash bag of recyclables that you fill will count as one.
Yep, every large bag that I produce that is full of recyclables will count as one bag of recyclable products that I'm using to measure how close I'm getting to my goal.
Okay. Ideally, what would you like your goal to be? Do you plan on recycling a certain number of bags per day, per week, per month?
That's a really good question. I don't think I'm to the point where I'm producing a bag of trash a day.
Okay.
So I don't think a bag a day is a good goal for me.
So 1 bag a day is a little unachievable right now.
That's I don't make that much trash.
Okay, that's fine.
But I do think that 1 bag of recyclable products, maybe condensed recyclable products, compressing and folding and making things smaller and putting them in the bags, that will be the way I meet that goal. And so right now, just off the top of my head, I would say a bag every 3 days, maybe.
Okay, so are you doing just plastics? Are we doing cardboards? Are we doing newspaper?
Yeah,
office
that's
paper?
very, very important when considering what trash products I have that are recyclable. Because you're right, there's cardboard, there's newspaper, there's plastic. When I'm sorting my trash right now, I'm primarily dividing things into a cardboard pile, like, condensed pizza boxes and things like that from the grocery store, and then a plastic pile.
Okay.
So I think that what I will need to determine is if I'm going to measure my bags recycled by combining all of those things, or if it's going to be 1 bag of just plastic, or if it's going to be 1 bag of just cardboard, or if I just want to mix them all and then put them in the designated spots when I get to the recycling center.
What do you think would be easiest for you at this point?
Well, right now I have my home, my trash corner in my house, divided into, like I said, cardboard and plastics. So I think that trying to measure how much plastic I recycle will be easiest in a bag system, and then potentially weighing how much cardboard I recycle will be kind of a numeric way of measuring how much cardboard material I'm recycling. So right now, plastic and cardboard in 2 separate kind of categories.
Okay, plastic will be by quantity,
Mm-hmm.
bags that you go, and then cardboard will be numerical as in weight.
Weight, yes.
Okay, perfect. So how about for our first goal, we just say Andrew will recycle 1 bag of plastic every 3 days and take it to the recycling center.
That sounds like a goal that I'm comfortable with.
Okay, perfect. And let's say that we do this within the next month and a half. Do you think that's a reasonable time frame for you to be working on this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'd like to have a solid number to report to you next time we meet, but I think that looking at the kind of longitude of a month is appropriate.
Perfect. So you think a month is good, but you would ideally like to start it sooner rather than later in order to
I've already
see
started
progress.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've already started separating things and accumulating things, and I kind of have a lot of plastic already. So it's more so taking a trip to the recycling center, seeing how many bags I've produced already, and then meeting my goal of 1 bag per 3 days.
Okay. What about other things other than cardboard and plastic that you would like to recycle? Last session you did mention that with your diabetes you get a lot of medical supplies that come to you that could easily be recycled, but you are unsure of how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Have we done any research on that? Have we put more thought into that?
Yeah, a little bit. I've met with my physician.
Okay.
And he gave me some sharps containers that are for my used syringes. And as we've learned in lots of our classes, used needles are a hazard to anybody that comes across them, really. So I want to focus on an ethical way to recycle my used sharps in a, defined, like in the way, like recycle them in the way that the clinic approves of, so that they get taken care of in a way that nobody will come across them or use them or be tempted to relapse with them.
Great. You've reached out, which is a very good step, so I'm proud of you for that.
Thanks.
And you are very cognizant of how your actions could affect others by, if you do not dispose of them correctly, others could possibly use them and do damage, so you want to make sure that you're doing that in a safe way.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Have you done any more research on that? I know you said that this is something that you would like to do, but do you know any clinics that would accept or use syringes?
I'm not completely sure about some of I see a lot of different physicians, so I think that here locally there are ethical, responsible needle recycling exchange kind of programs that would be beneficial to me. So probably the BJSU Health Center would have something like that, or even my local hospital or something. But I've not been able to find any needle exchange programs or like community, what's it called? Community health organizations that will offer to take my used needles.
In the past, how have you disposed of your syringes?
When I was younger, I took them to a pediatrician.
Okay.
And so pretty much any clinical setting will accept used needles and recycle them ethically. But I'm not completely sure how I'm going to go about doing that now that I'm back in this community.
Okay, so now that you're in a new community, you need to do a little bit more of recon, I will say, on services that will take that for you. Because it's something that's clearly very important to you. You feel very passionate about it. Why don't we make that goal number 2?
Okay, yeah, definitely. Going to my community physician and finding out how and where I can ethically dispose of my used diabetic syringes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
What do you think is a reasonable timeline? When do you go back to your physician?
I'm not sure exactly when I have my follow-up, but I could go to a community center here on campus and do that research before, hopefully before our next month kind of goal. But I think I could find that information out within the next week or 2.
Okay, so let's say for the next 2 weeks, client will find out a public service that will take your used syringes in a safe way.
Yes, that sounds great to me.
All right. Well, other than that, it seems like you're doing very well. It seems like you're motivated, which is great. You're making small steps on your own, which is even better. Makes my job a lot easier, and I'm happy to see that.
Awesome.
You seem very more relieved and upbeat this session than you did last session. Last session, you were a little down on yourself, but now that you're making these small steps, I can really see a really good improvement in your affect and your mood, which is huge. So I'm very happy to see that.
Totally, thank you. Right. I'm continuing to try and surround myself in the positive kind of reinforcement that comes with changing your lifestyle, and I'm going to keep watching these documentaries that guilt me into recycling, and I think that's important.
You think guilting you is the way to go?
It might not be the healthiest way, but I feel that if I continue to do research, communicate with my community physicians and watch documentaries and do my research on the importance of all of our global footprint, that will continue to motivate me to keep these healthy habits up and reach those goals.
Great. So you're going to use guilt as motivation.
Yes.
For the positive.
Yes.
Okay. I can get behind that one.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So next session, I think we're just going to check in with your goals and kind of see where you're at, see if we need to adjust them at all, if you want to add any goals because you've completed ones that you already have completed, or anything like that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right.
That sounds great. Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Absolutely. Have a great day. I'll see you next week.
time. Yep.
Okay, hopefully that's still recorded.
Edit the rest out.
The green light is still on, so I'm assuming